All right, back in the studio. I haven't done this for a while. I'm going to do an old Keith Green song here after I blab for a second. Looking at a lot of things, you know, on the news today. Just your same old message, don't put your trust in man, I think. You know, we've got all the extreme corruption in the Obama comics here. Obama-nomicomics. With the company that they're all, you know, taking the fifth because they don't want to say where the $500 million went and why it went there. They all apparently knew that this thing was not going to be plausible, and they went ahead and spent all this money anyway. Just to run us down, I guess. And I'm sure they made something off of doing it, but hopefully eventually the proper heads will roll. And so we've got, you know, a bunch of presidential candidate things I want to talk about, though. First of all, we've got the issue of Rick Perry, who, of course, is being pushed as the next kind of Bill Clinton, but it seemed like, oh, look, he's a nice-looking guy. What has that got to do with anything, unless you have to look at him every moment of the day like Obama? I mean, you know, you wouldn't want somebody with big ears or... Oh, never mind. No, you just usually hear his voice. In my case, I don't have the radio. I just assume he's on the TV as much as he is on the radio. I listen to radio more. And anyway, but we've got Rick Perry, who is a Bilderberg, not a viable candidate if you care about real change here, because the people who are creating the situation that ping-pongs us over the abyss are the Bilderberg group and those affiliated, the aristocracy. Watch the Endgame video for a good brief on that. And so we've got him, you know, killing all these girls too with this serum. You know, there's one girl who wants to do what's right, and she says, I don't want to take a stupid drug to be promiscuous because I'm not going to be promiscuous. And they're like, oh yes you are, dear, we're going to give you this. I'm sorry, I stand for the girls' right over 10,000, 100,000, a million girls that want to be promiscuous. If they want to go down and get the shot, you know, they're welcome to, I guess, but it's a life-threatening thing, and I don't think people should be forced to get anything like that. Any kind of inoculation, you know, is dangerous. But it's kind of like a bad, you know, movie. You see those old? There's this real freaky one on a ship where this guy is trying to give somebody a shot, and you know, it's just great. What was that old movie anyway? But yeah, that's what I think of when I think of that. So Rick Perry, sorry, not gonna be a viable candidate in my book. Then we have, you know, Mitt Romney, who, you know, aside from the fact he's a Mormon and there's this white horse prophecy, and if he got elected they would see it as the fulfillment of that, and you'd probably have Mormons at your door like you've never seen before. But anyway, aside from that, which is minor, I guess, compared to a lot of other things, he says he wants everybody to be rich, and I think that's flat crazy because, you know, if everybody was rich, then you would have people that would not produce anything pretty much most of the day, and that is not good because there would be no products on the shelf, people would starve, and then they'd realize, wow, we need to do something, yeah, at the last minute maybe. But if everybody was rich, it just would not be a good thing. I think it would collapse the nation worse than anything. People need to be in a sink-or-swim situation most of the time. They need to be motivated to do something to provide for their own means, and if you just give them a bunch of money, not too good. Okay, anyway, onward to Herman Cain, who I thought was a viable candidate. I thought, you know, I'd take him or Ron Paul, I don't care which. But as I look closer, I guess he was a World Bank, Federal Reserve board member in Kansas City. That's not good. You know, but maybe he's changed his ways, right? Well, today he is mocking people, calling them stupid if they want to audit the Fed. Now, we're talking about a Fed whose leaders don't pay their own taxes. How are they going to have credible auditors if the leaders don't pay their own taxes, okay? The wolves in charge of the hen house, okay? And I think Ron Paul knows that he wants to restore things to states having more power, which if they had all power except for, you know, the federal government being responsible for seeing that they aren't invaded, protecting borders, those kind of things, you know, that are needing to be globally mandated. The education, you know, should take place at a local level, I think. I mean, parents know what their kids need to do because they are the ones that are in local business there. And a lot of the kids are going to stay in that environment. If they're not, they can go to another school and make a selection to their liking. But this thing of trying to create a global community is very, very silly. People operate better at a local level. I'm sorry, it just is that way. And anyway, I'm going to do a Keith Green song that sums it up for me here. How can they live without you?